And good morning everybody, my name is Osa. It is Saturday, July 8th, and we are playing Farming Simulator 22 on Maypole Farm. And we're going places in the John Deere this morning. So we'll do a quick roundup when I get to where we're going. And then yeah, as you can see, fields on our left have now been prepared. They have all been digestate put in them, limed and mulched, not necessarily in that order. So we have the only fields that we don't have prepared now are the cornfield that hasn't been harvested yet, and all the fields that are currently sitting around with whole crop silage. Anyway, here we are. There is a bale trailer. It's all our mowing harvesting kit. Somewhere around here. Hit the mowers. Indeed, we do have a little bit more room to just drop, okay, play with here. So the plan for today, we have 2 contracts for hay, which I figure might come in a little bit useful, or at least the close one will. The rest of the hay I may sell. Now, the John Deere is down to 78. I think I can probably mow the field first, and then we'll set the class Arian off, tedding and windrowing and stuff while we get this tractor fixed. So anyway, here we are. So we'll run through a few things. 2 baling contracts, well paying. There are more baling contracts. They're not worth quite as much. It says that one's a thing, that one's a thing. I may add those in a while. Yes, maybe. That one's silage. That one's tedding. Let's accept that one. Let's do 3 tedding contracts. So that's that. In our productions, we have a lot of slurry down at the BGA, running low on manure. The reason the slurry's so high is because we exhausted all of the straw. So we had most of the night the slurry and straw wasn't running. Tomatoes we got a ton of water, we got a ton of manure, we've got a few seeds, but it really only takes 1 seed per 64 tomatoes, so they're going to carry on quite nicely. But we're a little bit down from the 600,000 I like to keep there, but still we're storing it, so the spawn point's full. Bread is not stored. I did take the opportunity to sell that because I had to transfer about 50,000 litres of flour from the grain mill. The grain mill is still in production, probably has about another 100,000 litres to produce, and 40,000 in stores, so there's 6,000 sitting outside. We're going to have to take time out today, some time to run down there, but we are out of barley. So that's that. Cows are, I did have to buy some maize silage and mix that up with our current supply of silage. I only got about 18 bales of silage left. I was doing a 2 silage to 3 maize, or 2 grass to 3 maize, because we actually had sufficient, or because of the size of the bales. So anyway, that should be going on. We got down to about 40,000 litres of grass left for them. Not seeing much in the way of newborns. They're 3 months old. Money's fine. Income from stuff has been 135,000. Is that all? 50,000 in sold milk. Oh, we started the day with 212. We had 474 last month. And that's all really the BGA. If we go here, our environmental score's not the greatest. I think if I zoom in here, this field is fine. Missing a little bit on the nitrogen, which I think is crop sensors probably weren't turned on. That's 100, that's at 89. Again, the nitrogen took a hit. That's fine. I can't do anything about that one because it's natural grazing. This one is close to fine. This one is close to fine. This one is close to fine. So it's really our new fields that are causing us most of the problems. That one's fine now. Again, nitrogen. This one I had no control over. That was ready to harvest, so we just pulled stuff off, and the only thing I could do was analyze the ground. This one I screwed up on the nitrogen. This one I screwed up on the nitrogen. This one, again, I didn't have any ability to do anything about. The nitrogen's good because I could spray it before it was ready to harvest, but the other two are weed control. Did not deal with the... It didn't have any weeds in it. So I'm going to guess that this was ploughed before it was planted by the previous owner, and thus never had weeds, so we don't get benefit from that. And then tillage, I bought it planted, so it's got a bad rate there. This one is completely missing nitrogen, which is me being dumb, I think. This one, again, completely missing nitrogen. It was ready to harvest, so I didn't have control. It has a bad pH level, or it had a bad pH level, and the tillage again. That one is maximum apart from the nitrogen, which obviously I screwed up. This one, no control there at the moment. We did seed that ourselves with corn, I believe. Yes, we seeded that with corn ourselves. So this is previous to that. The nitrogen should be good, the pH should be good. We should we get an update of weed control? We should get an update of weed control. And obviously the tillage is bad, which means I screwed up there. Well, we used a planter, so there was no control over that. pH on everything is good. Obviously we've been putting down lime everywhere, so it's just the fields with bales in, which is that one, that one, that one, and that one, which all need a lime top up. Obviously we bought this one, and then again with the nitrogen you'll find that this one needs to be harvested. We haven't touched the 3 red ones because they need to be the bales pulled off them. This one will drop as soon as we harvest that one. So that's our field states. We are expecting no weather today. Okay, a little bit of a problem there, and we are expecting rain for the next 3 game days. In the store there is a large windrower, which could be nice, a cotton bale transporter, a thing, which basically probably going to use that on a silage clamp, and we don't have one of those. This is interesting. I can actually afford one of those. That's just crazy. And then a small manure wagon, which takes 9,000 litres, so don't need that. I could actually buy that. I don't want to. We're not planning anything long term there, so we'll just say wow. Now obviously I'm looking at this, we've won this game. There's just no questions involved. Okay, I need to put both of these on conditioner. Okay, and I will pull that up to there. It doesn't actually. That's a good point. Swathing mode. Toggle work mode. Control Y. That's a little bit awkward, but anyway. Let's get that set up and running. So we need to produce hay. And that will go and do its thing. I'm gonna let it mow everything. Gonna get this guy attached to the tedder and we'll set that up. Then I think what I might do is run down to the flour mill and go do some more flour transporting. That was a little unfortunate. Alrighty. So I don't have a weight for this tractor, which I don't think I do. It says I thought maybe I did. Okay. Oh yes. Yeah, I'll tend to run with a front weight on most tractors when they don't have an attachment on the front. It makes them a little better balanced. I just noticed there's a bale in that. Dude, why are you coming back? Okay. Dude, behave. Okay, because of the edge of the map, and I have noticed that the edges of the map do have a small problem sometimes. So that, turn it on. That, turn it on. Probably two rows at this end. Not sure how the other end sits. This is not particularly straight for me. Okay. Oh, I was selected on the front. Lift to the front. Thank you. And lift the back. Alrighty. Actually, this mower set fits this tractor quite well. Press the right button. There we go. Alright. Sprint across here. We'll set this as good. Then the worker should be able to complete this field without a problem. If I don't get the opportunity to tidy up the edges or the corners, we will come back and do that before I let loose with the tedder. Cut that piece. And again, go. Have a person. So yay for that. Now, as I was saying, I can just sit there. Don't need the fence right now. I am going to take all of this stuff back over to the other yard. You know what? I think I cut through the hedge at the bottom of this, or top end of this field. Come on. This is a little bit impractical for this vehicle. Wheel spinning. Maybe. I think I put the break in the hedge over this side. But at least doing it this way, I don't have to drive it up the road. We do have to create or gain a little bit more altitude. That is done. So, no maintenance shop up here. It's actually interesting, you don't get to see the header status when it's on the header trailer attached to the Land Rover. The Land Rover gets its first clean in about 2 years. hopefully. This might actually be a little bit difficult. Because while the shed is long enough, the width of the yard is definitely not. Okay. Well, it's going to end up in the shed, that much is certain. If it's going to end up straight or not, I'm not actually sure. It looks like it's going to end up in the middle. This takes a little bit of thought trying to get this organised. So I'm going to be concentrating on this for a couple of minutes, or maybe not. Maybe a few seconds. Okay, you're looking mostly good there. So it's not going to be perfectly straight, but I think it's going to be acceptable. Cannot tell how close to that back wall I am, and even with the lights on, I can't tell. Okay, that's good. Disconnect that, and I'll drive this over here, leave it here for now. Okay, mower's still going. Indeed it is. Actually, that's not looking too bad. Okay, you need to go back home, and you have been serviced. So, take this up the road and through the field. So, unfortunately, our fish that's been faking dead for the last 2 weeks has finally died this morning, so that went to be with the other dead fishes. What else have we had going on this week? We've had some weird stuff going on with the deers lately. There were at one point at least one, possibly two mothers with babies running around the neighbourhood. But we did see at one point the mother was away from her baby and quite a ways down the road. And then the baby turned up, car went past, and the mother deer just ran off. The baby came round the corner to where Mum had been, couldn't see Mum, and so went across the road where neighbour's got a little collection of trees in his front yard, and it went and hid there and laid down. We went out, and when we came back it was still there. So, okay. Now, a little while later, we saw another mother and deer, baby deer, and thought, oh, okay. And then later that same day, that same mother and deer now had 2 baby deers. So obviously had found the abandoned one and was now caring for 2 baby deers. Half a week later, she's back in our backyard with 3 baby deers. So she seems to be collecting them like Pokemon cards. Yesterday, we saw 2 adults and 2 babies, so I don't know what's going on, but that's the states of the deers in our neighbourhood. Last weekend we had a couple of we actually had a large group of turkeys, 2 of which decided to have a fight in the backyard. So we had former foster boy who's 5-6 years old was very excited by these deers not deer, turkeys having a go at each other. Don't know what became of that. I mean, it wasn't particularly violent. It was just a bunch of deer having a go at each other, and then at the end they wandered off. Okay, let's jump in the cab of this thing. So while we're producing pretty much all 3 or 4 streams of flour, I do have to keep the turnover high out there. So we have to go to the mill and empty it very, very frequently. How's this vehicle doing? This actually been serviced recently by the looks of it, yeah. And then 4th of July, my grandmother died that morning. She's 97 and it was way past her time. She was seriously suffering from dementia. Although my mother was there pretty much every day, showing her photos of her childhood, and she remembered her brother who died quite many years ago, and her sister who similarly died quite a lot of years ago. But she would see those photos and she'd say, "Oh, that's me." But she couldn't remember what she'd had for breakfast, whether she had eaten breakfast, whether she should eat breakfast. And it was very tricky, and she's I guess you could say not a particularly friendly person. She gets